Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Dish on Dogs podcast. I'm your host, Jackie Bondanza, and I'm here with one of my favorite Hounds Townies, Alexis. She's Brooklyn's mom. She is one of our customers here in Hounds Town, Ronkonkoma. So we thought it would be great to have her on today just to kind of talk about her experience as a customer. And we'll talk about Brooklyn and, Brooklyn's experience with coming to us for probably almost 3 years now.
Yep, just about. She started coming here in March of 2018. So just about 3 years. Yep.
Wow, time flies. I remember when she was a tiny little...
11 weeks she was when she... 12 weeks she was when she started coming here.
Okay.
Now she's over 3.
She's over 3, yeah. Well, thanks for joining. I appreciate you taking the time to come. And I think obviously it's really important to get customers' perspectives on everything that we do. And since Brooklyn's been coming since she was really little pup,
a baby,
and you've seen kind of the incarnation of the business over the past 3 years and how much we're growing. I thought it'd be good to get your perspective. So tell us a little bit about Brooklyn and how you found Hounds Town and started coming.
Sure. So I started bringing Brooklyn here as a referral from John Salvador, who brings his dog here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, Meatball was the reason that we started coming. Jess and John kind of always brought their dog here, and then I got Brooklyn, and I found myself a little overwhelmed with a Rottweiler by myself. So where can she go? And then you start thinking about the breed and who's going to be okay with her being what she is. So I came here. You guys saw her as a little bear cub and not as anything else. And we signed up and we've never looked back since then.
Yeah, and that's an important distinction, I think, since Brooklyn is a Rottweiler.
She sure is.
She's big, big, chunky little
105 pounds, I think, so.
Yeah.
Big girl.
So it is important. It's always been important to us over the past 20 years that we don't breed discriminate. And our staff has the knowledge to be able to accept dogs into our facility without discriminating against them because of their breed.
Right.
So talk about how that was important to you. Did you have any other experiences with any other pet care facilities before coming to Hounds Town?
I didn't have any other experiences. Fortunately, I would say, because I was referred to you guys and it worked out right away. So I didn't have to go anywhere else. But I always have reservations, I think, when Brooklyn goes somewhere new. So her being used to coming here is great. Because again, I don't want to take her to a dog park. She walks in and people think the big bad Rottweiler just got here.
Right.
And she's a mush. I mean, you guys know that.
Yeah,
she's a mush. But people have a perception, and perception is reality. And unfortunately, it does make me nervous to bring her places other than Hounds Town just based on people's reactions, I think, to her. But she doesn't have that problem here. I watched the videos of her. She plays with labs. She plays with dogs that are big, still no little dogs, but half her size. And I feel comfortable with her being here and not getting hurt and not hurting anyone else. So
and
it's the safest option.
That's a good way to put it. And, Mike is always talking about dog parks and how they're unregulated, essentially, aside from people bringing their dogs and they don't, there's all different sizes, there's all different types. You don't know if dogs are vaccinated properly. So that's obviously one of the reasons why we are huge proponents of what we do, is because we're much more regulated. Our staff is trained. We're trained in CPR, and first aid. And
I'm not.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and we understand dogs like Brooklyn. So we understand that we don't have to consider her breed when we consider what group is going to be best for her. Right. It's more, what's her play style? What's her temperament? What's her energy level?
Hi.
Yeah. So she needs to be on like the social committee group.
Right.
So, in our facilities, we've got at least 5 or 6 different play areas. So Brooklyn's in kind of like every dog, including Brooklyn, is in a kind of a specialized group that suits them the best. And that's one of the reasons why, we don't have a lot of injuries, because we try to pair them up with dogs that are interested in the same amount of playtime.
Yeah. I mean, whatever group you put her in works well because, as I said, 3 years, no injuries here, nothing that she's ever done here, nothing I've ever had to be concerned about. And I left her here for 2 weeks when I went to Thailand that one time.
Oh,
so
I remember that.
That was pretty scary just to be away from her for 2 weeks. But I wouldn't have been able to go somewhere like that if I didn't know she was here because of my attachment to her and making sure she's okay.
Right.
So this is the only place I'd leave her anyway. You know that.
Yeah, I know. And we love Brooklyn. That's one of the reasons she's our another one of our brand ambassadors. So a couple of months ago, we had this group growth contest on our Facebook page, and we asked all of our customers to invite any family or friends or colleagues or any referrals that were maybe not a customer at Hounds Town yet, but could potentially be. So we had this contest and we ran it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and you and Brooklyn were, by far the front runners the entire time.
We're competitive. We had to win. She's the biggest girl here. And I thought, again, it would just be nice for people to see there's this nice, big, mushy dog. It's not just the little dogs that are nice. The big dogs are nice too.
Right.
So I think it just depends on how you train them.
I think so too. Yeah. And I think, also the fact that you brought her here
so little
when she was little.
Yeah.
That helps tremendously.
She likes, I swear, I think she likes Tyler and Danielle more than she likes me some of the time. Tyler's the only one that can clip her nails. I go near her paws and she's like, don't.
Yeah.
Leave that for Tyler. Okay.
I know they do. They get really attached to the staff here. And, sometimes our customers are working 5-6 days a week and we spend more time with the dogs during the work week.
For sure.
So our staff gets to know them and we get to learn all their little ins and outs. So
as a puppy, she was coming here 5 days a week when we started. And I would assume that probably has a lot to do with her reserved temperament. Other than that's the way that she was born. I think her just being thrown into the mix with so many dogs so young, I think that really benefited her in the long run. So
I do too. I think, and that's why we're such huge proponents of getting dogs in, getting them properly socialized.
Yeah, for sure.
Really early.
Young.
Because it definitely helps acclimate them to how they're going to react to other dogs. People that don't socialize early enough, the dogs tend to have behavior problems as they grow and get larger.
Yeah.
So,
we wanted to avoid that.
Well, I think that's a very smart move, and it's a very responsible move.
Thank you.
I think, unfortunately, also that comes along with being the pet parent of a bully breed because you have that extra.
It's like a weight.
Yeah, it's a little extra responsibility, but it's not actually accurate.
No, perception is reality.
Yeah, it's true. I know. Luckily, all of our customers that come here know that we don't breed discriminate, and they are not, I've never had a customer say, are there Rottweilers that come here?
No, I see quite a few now from when she started. I think, you guys must have 4 or 5 of them at least now.
For some reason, during the pandemic, everybody adopted a Rottweiler puppy, and they're so cute.
That makes me happy. They're little bears.
They are little bears, yeah. They're really cute. They grow so fast, though.
So fast.
Yeah.
She was only tiny for maybe a week.
Yeah.
Then I think she started growing. I look back on pictures where I was holding her and I was like, I was able to hold you?
Yeah.
She stands now and she's taller than I am. And I'm like, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Sheesh. But she's a big girl.
She is a big girl. Okay, so talk about the brand ambassador, going back to that and kind of you referred a lot of new people to the group. There was 200 or 300 or 400 people, I think, that stayed in the group.
So for me, that was really fun, actually, that contest, because I'm always ranting and raving about Hounds Town. And at first, sometimes people who are not used to a doggy daycare will look at you like you're insane.
Right.
Your dog goes to school, your dog goes to daycare. Where do they go?
Right.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is so necessary, especially for the dog, not just you, so that you are comfortable when you're out. Send the dog, try it. So as you know, a few of my friends have brought their dogs in and they're like, this is so fun. Between the pictures, the contests, the videos, it's so nice to be able to know where your dog is and what they're doing. So for example, Julia just started bringing Gouda.
Yeah.
She's like, check Facebook and see, what he's doing. And I'm like, I see the video of him. He's just fine. So the brand ambassador thing was fun for me to help you guys because it also gave me a chance to show the people that I know that we're not so ridiculous and that this is fun and necessary if you have a dog.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it helps us, obviously, with gaining some more potential customers and being able to educate them in our group. Like you said, some people don't even know about doggy daycare.
Not at all.
It seems like it's changing a little bit over the past couple of years.
I would say, yeah. When I first started bringing her the dog daycare, I would get a lot. And now they're like, oh, Hounds Town. Because I think when I first started coming to you guys, there was Port Jeff, Ronkonkoma. I mean, you guys were not in other states yet, really. Right. And now I bring you up and people know Hounds Town.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. That's a good reminder of how far we've come in just 3 years.
So far.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work and worked hard to get. Now we have 18 locations that are open in 7 different states. Yep. So, but it's all of these locations are built on really customers like you and Brooklyn. And at the end of the day, it's so important for us to host kind of a family-friendly, owned and operated atmosphere. So when customers walk in, they feel like they're kind of, this is their second home. Yeah. And they're not walking into a place that's like corporate and stale.
No. I mean, especially when you're leaving them here for boarding. Like I said earlier, I don't feel like I'm dropping Brooklyn off at a kennel. Right. Brooklyn's coming to hang out with her friends. Yeah. Literally, she's like, oh, my leash, I'm going to see my friends. Hounds Town, car. Great. Hops in, bags packed. She doesn't look back. She doesn't even, bye, Brooklyn, like a little mom at daycare. And she's off she goes. And I'm like, well, I guess if you're going to go away and have to leave your dog somewhere, it's the most comfortable for me.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's good to hear.
I can call and say, hi, Danielle, it's me. And she knows who it is. So that's nice.
Right. And yeah, I think it's important that our staff is accessible. And that's why we're very prominent on social media. Yep. So that's the way that we communicate with our customers. And we want customers to feel comfortable calling us, texting us, emailing us. We're friends on Facebook, so that if there's ever a problem or a question or a concern, that you can actually reach me too.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. It just makes you so much more comfortable.
Right.
I don't think there's any other way to make someone as a pet parent feel that comfortable without giving the accessibility to the dog while they're away from you, like you guys give. If I didn't see pictures and videos of her, it wouldn't be half the experience. But I see that I'm not just calling and you're saying, yep, Brooklyn's great, she's fine. I actually can physically see that Brooklyn's fine. Right. And I guess from coming here for so many years, the relationships I've developed with, Tyler, Sam, Danielle, Ashley, before she even left, they know Brooklyn. So they'll tell me the truth too. Is she being wild? Is she being a little crazy today?
Right.
I love that I can trust them and know that they're just telling me the truth of how she's behaving for the day, which is good.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And we try to give detailed information. So especially with new dogs that are coming, like Gouda maybe.
Yeah.
It's important for the pet parent to know what kind of group is the dog in.
Right.
Was he a little shy? Was he a little afraid? How long did it take him to come out of his shell? So these are the things that our staff is doing throughout the day.
Yep.
In the back, especially, to make sure that the dogs are having, as optimal as an experience as possible, and that's being translated to the customer.
Absolutely.
In real language, not, yep, Gouda's doing great, don't worry.
Right. I think the telltale sign is when they come home with the Hounds Town hangover.
Yeah.
That they actually did well that day, as far as socialization and playing goes. I was peeking in the room earlier and I just saw them all wrestling and some are napping. And I'm like, oh, everyone's doing their own thing today. That's nice. So it's cute.
And that's interesting you say that, because oftentimes when the parents drop off and the dogs get into the back and they get into their group and the staff aren't in there necessarily all day long. Right. That's part of our secret sauce. We want to foster exactly what you just said. We want to foster that interaction between the dogs. So if we were in there all day long, they would be focused on us. They wouldn't be wrestling with one another. And that's where the value comes in for the dog. As a social pack animal, they need to interact and play like that. And we don't want to distract them from that.
And it's nice to see it being done in a safe way. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to kind of what we were alluding to with the dog parks before, if I see her playing with another dog, I'm not sure that dog necessarily plays. if they come here and she's playing with a dog, I know they've been through an evaluation. They have everything they need. So it doesn't make me hesitant to let her play with the dogs here.
Right.
But whereas on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's a little scary.
Right.
When you don't know the other dog.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know. So.
And that's not to say that dogs don't get injured here. They do, because they play so hard and rough. So it's not uncommon for a dog to get a scratch or even a puncture. I know Brooklyn tore her ACL a couple
she sure
months
did.
ago. And that was an expensive surgery for you.
It was, but it doesn't. The saddest part about it was when I took her and they said she might not be able to play wild anymore. And for me, you know her personality. I'm like, that would just be the worst thing that could ever happen if she can't come back here and play anymore. She really looked like she kind of went into a little depression for a while because she's so used to seeing other dogs. You know, I'm not quite as entertaining as the rest of the dogs here, but now that she's healed, I call her the bionic puppy. She's running around just fine. Guess something else to bring up, when I had brought her back after that ACL surgery, it's her first day, so I was really nervous. So I said to Talia, you know, let me know if you see her limping or anything like that. She personally checked in with me throughout the day to let me know she was doing okay. So it's just nice. Again, you know, for me, I got those nerves again about sending her back here, which I had never gotten in years, but she's, again, doing just fine. And if she was to come home with a scratch, I mean, she's a big girl. Let her play.
Right. I mean, that's...
Yeah. It's the nature of...
That's the nature.
If a kid goes to preschool, you don't expect that they couldn't come home with a scraped knee.
Right.
They just might, so...
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Good. Let's see what else. So Brooklyn's now you've been working from home since really for the past year, which is crazy. A year's gone by.
Yep.
So how has you working from home? I know we talked a little bit about this outside. How has you working from home affected Brooklyn's coming to daycare?
Me being home has affected Brooklyn coming to daycare because it's not necessarily that she doesn't have the need for Hounds Town anymore. It's almost that it's really just that I'm lonely when I leave her here. So now I work from home, and whether you look at it that I'm fortunate or unfortunate, because some people like to be in an office, I am lonely when she is here. So does she come less? Unfortunately, yes, which is only part-time until I go back into the office. But she's definitely not happy with me coming less. You can see she's a little bored. So I still try to bring her, you know, at least the once a week.
Right.
So she sees everyone. She stays acclimated and she keeps the good behavior up. That was something I was nervous about when I had her out with the ACL. Will she come back and be the same? Will she be hesitant to play? I don't know.
Right.
But from what it looks like, she's the same dog all over again. So
she
coming
is.
here so long, I guess, just benefited her in that way,
helped,
that she wasn't nervous to come back.
Oh, good.
Herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I know, you know, a lot of our customers have, you know, shifted to work from home, and they did start bringing the dog a little bit less, especially through like March, April. But a lot of our customers are back in the office, or they're nurses or teachers, and we were talking earlier about Brooklyn's on your Zoom calls.
Yeah, for sure. And for my thing too, for her not to come here, I don't think it's good for her mental after so long, and her physical.
Right.
So she's used to working out. She basically works out 8 to 10 hours a day when she's here.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
If I stop letting her work out and she just stays home and gets like a lazy couch potato, that other ACL tear will come probably sooner rather than later.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, so she needs the activity here. I can run around with her only so much.
Yeah.
Even on a day off. I'm tired. She's a dog. I'm not. Right. I don't want to chase you all day long.
Right.
We'll go for a walk. We'll play. You can run the fence. But other than that, she really needs this to get that energy out and exercise herself.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Well, I appreciate all of your input and your insight. Jackie. And we love you guys. And I'm glad Brooklyn's back.
We love you guys too so much.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. That's a wrap. You can see us every Monday night at 8 o'clock on the Dish on Dogs podcast on Facebook. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel, The Dish on Dogs, as well as iTunes, Spotify, and all your other podcast platforms. We will see everybody next week.